Oi, tudo bem? Aqui é a Luciana, da Street Smart Brazil. If you've been practicing your Portuguese, by now you know that we use diminutives quite often. We talk about uma cervejinha, cineminha, uma mãozinha, all the time. It's a lot of inhos and zinhas, right? So why is it important to learn diminutives? Well, because diminutives communicate much more than just size. If you don't know how to use them, you might miss what your friend or coworker actually said. In addition, you can be more effective in your communications when you know how and when to use diminutives. So in this lesson, I'm gonna show you first how to use diminutives. And you might be wondering, why am I showing you how to use them before you know how to form diminutive words? Well, because using them is the fun part. Additionally, as you see diminutives in use, you will get a feel for how they sound and how useful they are, and then it's gonna be easier to look at the rules and just fine-tune your knowledge. I'm gonna show you how to form the diminutive words, and I'm gonna give you a cultural note at the end that is especially important for the guys. And by the way, in Portuguese, the word diminutive is diminutivo. Diminutivo. So let's see how to use the diminutives. Diminutives literally translate to English by placing the word little before the original word. However, the use of diminutives is not always associated with small size. You can have a tall and strong friend that everyone calls Paulinho, and that's what I want to show you in this part of the lesson. So the first use of diminutives is to indicate small size. Okay, so I can say, que cachorrinho tão fofo. And again, as with all my lessons, all the translations are on the blog post, and the link to the blog post is in the video description. So I'll read this sentence again. Que cachorrinho tão fofo. So when I'm saying cachorrinho, of course the context will tell you if I mean it because it's an adorable dog, even though it's a big dog, or if it's a question of size and it's a little tiny dog. So a lot of it is in the context, in the situation. Diminutives are also used to indicate affection, and the example I gave before, like this big, strong, tall guy that everyone calls Paulinho, is not about size, it's an affectionate way to call someone. And this sentence is, você é meu anjinho. Você é meu anjinho. Another example of diminutives meaning affection. Gosto muito de você, leãozinho. Gosto muito de você, leãozinho. And some of you will recognize this phrase is from a song by Caetano Veloso, and I have the link to the song in the blog post. You can also use diminutives to express irony or sarcasm. In this example, posso imaginar a casinha onde Bill Gates mora. So a lot of it is also in the tone of the person who's speaking, right? I'll read this one again. Posso imaginar a casinha onde Bill Gates mora. Well, we can all imagine that Bill Gates doesn't live in a little house. So this is an, sarcastic way of talking about his house. You can use diminutives to put something or someone down. So in this example, este é jornalzinho sem qualidade. So I'm saying this is a little newspaper without quality or of bad quality. It doesn't matter if it could be a huge newspaper, it could be the biggest in the country. What I'm trying to say is that I don't trust it, I don't like it, I don't think it has good quality. So that's why I use the diminutive. So I'll read this one again. Este é jornalzinho sem qualidade. You can use the diminutives to lessen the importance of something. So here, estou com uma dorzinha de cabeça chata. So I'm saying I have a little headache that's bothering me. Right? So I'm trying to say I'm not sick, it's not a big deal. So I'm lessening the importance of it. I'll read this one again. Estou com uma dorzinha de cabeça chata. We can use the diminutives to emphasize something. For instance, preciso acordar bem cedinho amanhã. So I need to wake up really early tomorrow. So I'm doing the diminutive of early, just to emphasize that it's really early for me. I'll read again. Preciso acordar bem cedinho amanhã. And we often use diminutives because they sound friendly. It's a nice way to speak. So in this first sentence, I'm asking for a hand, but I'm saying, can you give me a little hand? Maybe I'm asking for a huge help to help me carry heavy stuff and do a big move. But that's just a nice way to speak. Pode me dar uma mãozinha? Pode me dar uma mãozinha? Here I'm inviting someone to catch a movie and I'm saying a little movie. Maybe it's a very long movie. It's just, a nice way to speak. Vamos pegar cineminha hoje? Vamos pegar cineminha hoje? And in this last example, I'm talking about having a little beer. Maybe we're gonna have a lot of beers, so it doesn't mean quantity or anything. A gente vai tomar uma cervejinha mais tarde. A gente vai tomar uma cervejinha mais tarde. So great, now that you know how to use it, you can learn how to make them, how to form diminutives. And there are 6 rules. It's easy, it's not a big deal. I just want it to be detailed here. First, we're gonna look at words that end in a non-stressed vowel. That is, words that end in a vowel and the last syllable is not the stressed or stronger syllable of the word. What you do is you remove the final vowel and you add inho or inha. The general rule is that masculine words will end in inho and feminine words will end in inha. However, there are funny words such as cinema, which is a masculine noun, but it ends in a. When that happens, you respect the final vowel of the word, and so cinema, I would add inha, cineminha, even though it's a masculine word. Example, I have the word casa. I drop the last vowel and I add inha. Casinha. That's it. Simple. Garota. Do you wanna try on your side and guess what it's gonna be? Garotinha. Garotinha. Carro. Carrinho. Carrinho. Cachorro. Cachorrinho. Cachorrinho. Monte. Montinho. Montinho. Okay, now we see the words that end in a stressed vowel. It ends in a vowel and that's the stronger syllable of the word. If there is a graphic accent in that last vowel, you remove the graphic accent and then you add zinho or zinha. That's it. So if I have pé, pezinho. And you see why I have to remove the graphic accent? Because now the syllable pé is not the strong syllable of the word. Now it's z, pezinho. So I can't have the graphic accent on the e. Sofá, sofazinho. Sofazinho. Café, cafezinho. And we do that all the time, right? After lunch, what do we Brazilians say? Cafezinho. Tatu, tatuzinho. Tatuzinho. Words that end in a consonant. It's the same thing of the previous one. You add zinho or zinha. Papel, papelzinho. Papelzinho. Flor, florzinha. Well, how did I know it's an inha? Because flor is a feminine noun, uma flor. So I have to do the feminine version of inho, inha. Uma florzinha. Amor, amorzinho. Amorzinho. Now there's a little detail in these ones. If the word ends in an M, you have to replace it with an N. It's a spelling rule. So bom, bonzinho. You see, the sound doesn't really change, but you have to spell differently. Bonzinho. Neném, nenenzinho, nenenzinho. We're almost there. Words that end in a diphthong. And wait, don't run. Stay with me. It's actually simple. A diphthong is a sound formed by the combination of two vowels in a single syllable. So in Brazil, it's a lot of the ein that we have in Portuguese. Okay, so even if you don't like grammar, you don't like this word, it's okay. You just add zinho or zinha to make the diminutive form. Coração, coraçãozinho, coraçãozinho. Pão, pãozinho, pãozinho. Mão, mãozinha. So I knew to do inha and not inho because even though it ends in O, I know that mão is a feminine noun, right? Mãozinha. Almost there. We have two little things to talk about, and then that's it. Words that end in CA and CO, you have to replace the last C with a QU, and that's to keep the sound of the word. Macaco, macaquinho. Because if I didn't have the QU and I had the C, you know that the CI in Portuguese sounds like C. So I go from macaco to macacinho as a different word. It's not the same thing. So I need to change the C and have a QU, so I keep the sound. Macaquinho. Vaca, vaquinha, vaquinha. And a similar thing happens with words that end in GA or GO. I have to replace the last G with a GU, or just, add the U. Lago, laguinho, laguinho. And that's also to keep the sound, because if I don't put that U there, I'm going to have lajinho, and that's I don't know what that is. That's not a word. So laguinho. Manga, manguinha, manguinha. Okay, so to end the lesson, I have a cultural note. Women use diminutives more than men. It's true, there are studies about that. So if you're a guy, keep this in mind and observe your male friends to get a feel for how they use diminutives. And I want to give a note of encouragement. I sometimes hear Portuguese learners using the diminutive in ways that don't sound natural. It's not something a Brazilian would probably say. It happens especially with men because, like I said, they don't use it so often. I'm sharing this with you, not because it's a big deal, because it isn't, but because I want you to know that it may take some trial and error to get this right. And that's okay. Don't feel discouraged. It's just part of learning a language, right? You sometimes have to make mistakes, or many times you have to make mistakes in order to learn it right. I want to tell you I have a new lesson every Wednesday, so subscribe to the YouTube channel and subscribe to our blog to get your lesson every week. And if you're struggling in Portuguese, there is no need to do so. You can learn and practice with a friendly and professional Street Smart Brazil instructor, and you will quickly see the benefits of regular practice with a good teacher. So book a trial lesson with us to get started. Muito obrigada. Tchau, tchau.